Yes, I don't know if you are surprised about the Jason Kenney action over the suspension of Justice Minister of Edmonton, Justice Kelechi Madu. I have studied the politics in Canada and I understand the concept of the international politics and how politics is being played in Canada against immigrant or ethnic groups. It's only someone who does not know the character of J.C. Kenney in the politics under the conservatism can understand or be surprised of his action. I followed J.C. Kenney when he was immigration minister under the Stephen Harper. I, went through all his immigration policy against ethnic groups, and he was the one that introduced the 2 tiers of citizenship in Canada under the Stephen Harper of conservatism. So the issue here is the suspension of his Justice Minister Madu is unnecessary because I did not see any violation of ethics or criminal issue because ticket is a traffic offense and it does not warrant such intimidation or harassment or embarrassment of his justice minister. Comparing the sensitivity or considering the sensitivity of such post as a justice minister. But one good thing in this case is because Kelechi Madu, was is an elected and official. It's not just like an appointed a political appointee. So he was elected under his constituency. So I don't see any issue in this regard other than political motivated, because I know J.C. Kenney has been under a lot of pressure on why he, appointed an immigrant to, to hold such a sensitive post in a province of Alberta. But I encourage Kelechi Madu to be outspoken and call a press conference, and don't be shy in explaining the world or the Canadian public of the utterances or the issue leading to the suspension, because I don't believe that the issue leading to the suspension is about calling of police boss or talking about the ticket, because and why haven't seen a lot of group speaking against it is because I understand Kelechi Madu was recently elected in Alberta, but have not, in Edmonton, but have not built kind of a political bridge across Canada to reach out to all the ethnic groups to do sort of sanitization of ethnic groups, to incorporate them in the Canadian politics. But I understand he's still young in the politics of Canada, but instead of him being a victim of circumstances, under the J.C. Kenney cabinet, he should focus on issue that matters for his constituencies, so he can be able to, work towards his re-election, because it was a privilege being appointed as a Minister of Justice, as a first-time political office holder, instead of, because he's not a returnee. So my point here is, I'm not surprised, and J.C. Kenney, his policy during the time of immigration minister under Stephen Harper taught me a lot of how the systematic operation and the internal reprisal action, the legacy he left with the Canadian Border Service and immigration is what is still playing out today. The Liberal Party have not been able to, to overhaul the immigration sector and Canada Border Service Agency to overturn the policy of J.C. Kenney. So what is being carried out on the immigration sector in Canada today is still the legacy led by J.C. Kenney. only fraction, like 10-15% of it is what has been abolished. But in regard to politics, I will advise Kaycee Madu to focus on his political career and what matters for his constituency, so he can be able to deliver, so he can be able to be re-elected on the next election. But issue of being a justice minister, he should be outspoken so he can be able to explain the Canadian public what really transpired. Because to my understanding on preliminary investigation, I understand there are some issues between the Premier, Jesse Kenney, and the Kaycee Madu since he's been appointed as a justice minister. If you recall, what brought Jesse Kenney to win election in Edmonton as the Premier was his opposition to the Justin Trudeau with regards to the energy or environmental bill, which Jesse Kenney opposed. But I don't want to go into that at this moment, talking about the Canadian politics. My focus is on the justice minister that was suspended, on how he can explain the Canadian authority why and how and what really went wrong between him and the Premier, so the world will understand instead of keeping silent. And we will, support him in the next election to make sure he gets re-elected. But it is a lesson to any immigrant or ethnic group that is vowing into political office here in Canada. Thank you very much, and my name still remains Kaycee Azubike, the founder of Kaycee Foundation International. Thank you for listening.